Hi everyone, and thanks for joining our demo session today about building autonomous AI agents on AWS, leveraging the process intelligence from Celonis. My name is Stefan Schiller. I'm a solutions architect at AWS, and with me is Peter. Hi, Pete.
Hi, Stefan. Nice to be back, and also hi to the audience watching the stream. My name is Peter. I'm an applied automotive engineer at Celonis. And in my role, my ambition is to solve the business-critical challenges of our automotive and manufacturing customers, leveraging both process intelligence and AI.
So Peter, what is your take on building AI agents on AWS?
In our collaboration, we have seen how easy it is to set up an agent in Agent Core. We at Celonis, we are focusing on how we can create value from these agents.
And can you elaborate a little bit more into how you would do that?
So we're focusing on how we can integrate these agents into your processes in a trustworthy way.
Can you dive a little bit deeper into how you actually do that?
So let's assume you're already spot on the problem. So you have done your process mining homework, you have identified the bottlenecks, you have done your root cause analysis. It's this very process context that allows you to decide in which situation you need which agent and also which guardrails you should consider. And then you can use the process intelligence graph to feed the agent all the relevant context it needs to excel at its task. When the agent has done its job, you can not only write back the result, but also all the traces and logs.
To get a better understanding of it, can you give me an example?
My favorite example is when we worked together on cutting the lead time and order to delivery process. So it was about aligning the production schedules of two separate companies using different systems across processes.
Okay, so that means the main challenges that you had was that you had fragmented data sources, that you had multiple partner systems that you need to connect to. And just to make sure that you had eliminate the manual process and the manual intervention by humans, you wanted to build an AI agent that handles all of the coordination between your Celonis system and the partner external systems.
Exactly. So Stefan, it would be great if you can walk us through this use case.
So first of all, let's jump into the Celonis environment where we see our demo data. So what you see here is that we have a bunch of orders in our environment based on the order ID and the order status. So what we now want to do is to build an agent that gets all the order information, and based on the order status, if the order is in status ready for partner scheduling, we want the agent to autonomously reach out to different third-party systems like a calendar of the partners to check the availability of the partners, but also get various information, different information from the Celonis environment, and then schedule an appointment. And for the agent, in order to get all the data from the Celonis system and also write back into the system, we can leverage the Celonis MCP Server. And this is an example of the tools that the MCP Server from Celonis exposes. We have the capability to load all the order data. We can load the partner data, also the resources that are available for applying customizations from the partners for the orders. And then we also have the ability to trigger an action flow inside the Celonis environment. And in order to show you how the agent is capable of first connecting to the Celonis MCP server, but also to different third-party systems, I also wipe-coded a calendar application that shows you the different appointments that a partner has. And then the agent can reach out to the calendar application to check are there any current appointments, but also getting the information from the Celonis MCP server and then cross-checking all the information it got to schedule an appointment. So for visibility reasons, I created a chat interface that you see here so that we can track what the agent is doing in the background. In a real-world use case, this would happen automatically and completely autonomously in the background. So the first thing we can do is we can tell the agent now to list me all the orders that are available in the Celonis environment. So I tell the agent, list me all orders, and the agent will now reach out to the Celonis MCP server, trigger the list all orders tool, and now we have an overview about all the orders that are available. And now I see that there are certain orders that are ready for partner scheduling. So now let's tell the agent to schedule for order number 22. So what happens now is that the agent is reaching out again to the Celonis MCP server, triggering certain tools, getting information, checking on the one side, what are the preferred time slots from the partners, what are the available time slots for the resources, and then also reaching out to the calendar API, what is a different endpoint, to check whether there are any available appointments that might cause a conflict here. And then the agent will give you a summary of what it found. And then it will make you a recommendation when the next available time slot is. So in our case, we can now tell the agent to schedule an appointment for the October 3rd. And the only thing that I now have to do is tell the agent to proceed here. And as I said, this can happen completely autonomously in the background. But in order for us to show the people what is capable with an agent, I told the agent to log all its activities inside the chat interface. So now what we see here is that the agent successfully scheduled the appointment. So if we look into our calendar API, we see that we have a new appointment for our partner. And now we can look into the Celonis MCP server. And if we check here our demo action flow, you will see that our agent just triggered a second ago a new action flow to write back into the system that it now successfully scheduled an appointment.
Thank you, Stefan, for walking us through the demo. Might you also give us a brief overview of the architecture?
Sure. So let's have a look into the architecture. So what you see here is that on the left side, our clients connect to Celonis, and from the Celonis environment, we can interact with the agents. So at the center of our architecture, we have Amazon Bedrock Agent Core, what is a serverless environment that gives me certain components that I can use to build my agentic solutions. My agents are built using the Strands SDK, what is just an easy way to build agents and deploy them. And we will have a look into the certain components in a second. What you see here on the right side is the Celonis MCP server that provides me certain tools. And then you see the third-party systems, and as an example for the demo, I use this calendar API.
Thanks for giving the overview. Could you maybe also deep dive in the core?
Sure, let me give you a very quick overview about it, and let's jump into the AWS console to give you a better idea of what these components can do. So what you see here is that I deployed the agent on Agent Core runtime, what is a serverless environment for deploying and scaling my agents and also my MCP servers. And the Agent Core runtime provides me the ability to use any open source framework that I want to use, like TrueAI or also the Strands SDK from AWS. And you can use open source protocols like MCP to connect to your external systems. The Agent Core runtime is also automatically versioning my runtime deployments. And these deployments are then exposed through an endpoint that I can easily connect to from my front end. The second part that I want to show you is the Agent Core Gateway. And the Agent Core Gateway gives me now a centralized and secure hub to manage and expose my MCP servers, my REST APIs to my agents in a single and unified interface. So now I have a much more simplified tool discovery and authentication and orchestration at scale, rather than doing this manually for any given API endpoint that I have. The other component that I want to show you is Agent Core Identity. So Agent Core Identity provides me a centralized identity and credentials management system for AI agent. So it gives each agent its own identity that tightly scopes the access that my agent has access to. And using the inbound authentication, I can control which users have access to my agents and can trigger my agents. And with the outbound authentication, I have the ability to specify which tools the agent can access. The last point that is really interesting for people or companies who are building AI agents is Agent Core Observability. The observability part in Agent Core gives me now full insights and transparency what the agent is doing in the background. So you see here that each session, each request and response cycle is traced by the platform. And what you see here is that the system logged every activity by the agent with the downstream systems like the MCP server. So every tool call And every request and every response from the agent and the MCP servers is traced inside the system. And now what we can do as like a future outlook is taking all the logs that are inside the agent core system and then writing it back into the Celonis environment to further improve the process and make sure that the agent that we deployed is actually improving the environment or is improving the process.
That sounds exciting, and I think it greatly shows how the capabilities of both AWS and Celonis play well together. And to summarize, it's AWS who builds the agent and Celonis who provides the playbook and the rules of the game.
Exactly. So thanks for joining our demo session today. If you got questions or comments, just write in the comment section below or reach out via LinkedIn. See you next time.